Guys, I'm here with Austin Peters. He helped with the whole teardown of the Goldwing here. Austin's had experience working in the bodywork industry, so he's got a lot of valuable experience on how to tear down body panels and handle fragile components and everything. He also helped with the build of Frankie 1, so bringing him in on this project, I just want to introduce him to you here and look forward to working with him more on this project, Frankie 2. Thank you very much. Hey guys, it's Jason Russell again. Today I want to show you guys what the Goldwing looks like all tore down. Today Austin and I tore down the rest of the fairing and the cluster framework and everything. And right now we just kind of temporarily have this cluster sitting in place. You'll see why we're keeping the cluster connected. But I basically wanted to show you guys what the bike looks like all tore down and to test all the electronics before we start surgically removing modules. And I just basically want to run you through the process of what I'm doing here to get the bike prepared to become an engine donor for Frankie 2. So over on this side that Wanda is showing you, the first thing that we did was check for any shorts across the battery leads before I hooked it up. Everything looked good, so the battery's reconnected, so the frame is powered up right now as we speak, ready to go. And I've got the transponder key in my hand, so let's see if everything lights up. So far everything looks normal. So basically what I'm looking for here is no check engine light, right? So if we have a check engine light, something is disconnected or not working right on the bike as it sits. The traction control and hill assist and ABS, those are normal to come on each time you boot up these Goldwings until you start going down the road. Not too concerned about that. And this tour mode is a good thing to see. And what you can do, I could do here is I could switch between the different modes and see that that's responding like it should, showing neutral and the neutral indicator. As you can see, that's the miles that the bike has about 1,200 miles. So bike is just barely broken in, so it should be perfect for being an engine donor. Something I wanted to do, I just wanted to show you guys all of the communication control modules that are on this bike. Starting at the back, this is the infotainment module. And this one right here has got all the connections for your GPS, for your intercom, your Bluetooth, for connecting to your phone, and it also runs that screen in the middle of the cluster. So all that runs basically displays. Then moving up here, this one here is the rear control module, and this one actually runs the heated seat and the heated backrest, and has the switch inputs for the rider to change, the passenger to change the heat settings on the back. So this only goes with the tour model. So if you got a bagger like the bike that Frankie 1's engine came from, it does not have this module. And that presents a little bit of a challenge on this project because the program I wrote does not assume that there is one of these. So what I'm gonna have to do, I'll show you guys in a future episode, I need to figure out a way for my controller to simulate this as well, because this didn't exist in the other bike. Okay, so moving up through here, here's the engine control module, the ECM. And it looks a lot like the transmission control module TCM. Difference is TCM, you can tell which one it is because it has 2 connectors. The ECM has 3. It has a lot more inputs and outputs. And by the way, all these talk together across a 2-wire CAN bus. And here's those 2 wires where they all meet together. You'll notice there's a bunch of red wires on one side and a bunch of white wires on the other. All the reds are in parallel with each other. All the whites are in parallel with each other. So this is kind of the meeting point for each one of these modules to connect to. So this is how they all star together. Okay, so moving down here, this is the keypad module that flips through the infotainment stuff, turns on the heated grips, navigates you through the menu. This one speaks through CAN bus as well, through the network. Front control module, this runs your lights like your blinker, your headlights. Again, all this communicates through CAN bus, so everything knows what to do because it's being told by the other modules and communicate back and forth with each other. So coming around to the very front, the cluster itself is actually a computer module. So this cluster displays all the pertinent data to the driver. Also, if there's anything wrong with the network, which I'll demonstrate to you what that looks like, this displays to the operator that there's something wrong, in addition to showing your RPM, infotainment, and everything else. So I believe that covers it all. It looks like there's 8 of them all together. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, smart module. So smart module communicates to this key, this transponder key, through an antenna. So the smart module sends data to the engine control module about this key, and if that information matches, it allows the engine to start and to run. So now I want to show you guys a little bit about scanning this CAN bus network we're talking about and looking for any faults. So like I said, there's no check engine light, which is good, and we're showing what mode we're in, so that's very good. But I want to show you guys what how this tool works here and give you an idea of how I use it. So first thing I'm going to do is turn off the bike, wait for everything to power down. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this diagnostic connector, and if you want to come around here, I'll show you guys here. So the diagnostic connector on this motorcycle and most other motorcycles is this red one, and it had a cap on it, and I took that cap off, but it was tucked back in here by the suspension control motor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and connect this to the plug. You hear it click there. Then what I'm going to do is turn the power of the bike back on and wait for this to boot up. And this is basically a small tablet, and this unit here is set up specifically for Honda diagnostics, and I use this quite a bit on the project. When I started deleting things or moving things around, I want to compare what the computer sees versus what I think it sees. This has been a very, very helpful tool, and I think it was like $400. It wasn't a lot of money, but you just can't use a normal OBD2 scanner on these bikes. They're very specific to each manufacturer. So I think I found this one on Amazon or someplace, but anyways, we gotta go and accept this. Diag. And we're not OBD2, that's for normal cars. We're Honda specific. And enter. It's establishing communication to the bike network right now. Diagnostics. And we're going to do an auto scan. That's the easiest. It just checks all the modules that are available. So you hit enter. And this is the connector that we're using here. And we just want to tell it to go ahead and scan everything. And it's going through each module it finds one by one. Okay, so bank angle sensor. So the bank angle sensor, I'll walk you through what these faults are about. So the first one is bank angle sensor, and that guy is temporarily connected right over here. And what this guy does, it was mounted on the framework previously, and we had to zip tie this for now. But basically what this does, it tells the computer if the bike is tipped over or banked or leaning too far. In that case, if that were to happen, it would shut off the fuel pump and the ignition. and it would keep it from the bike from starting up, to keep fuel from spraying everywhere in case that happened. So that's what this is about. And if you come back around here, so these are specific to the rear unit, which is this unit right here. So this unit itself is a little unhappy about some things we have missing here. So we're missing the thermistor, which is the temperature probe for the heater, the seat heater. And looks like there's an A and B side of that, or two of them. And also same goes for the rear. So no big deal. We're not too worried about the seat in this situation. The bike's going to run just fine without seeing the seat temperature or anything. So I'm not too worried about that. But this does bring up an interesting situation here. The Frankie 1 has all the modules removed except for this one, for the smart module for the key, obviously, and this little switch to turn things on and off. And Frankie 1 over there has the transmission module and has the engine module. So Frankie 1 only has 3 of the original Honda modules. This one, and this one over here. And like I mentioned, there's 8 of them altogether. So here's the thing. If this bike is missing any module, I'm going to show you what that looks like if it's missing a module. So let's disconnect this rear module, and I'll show you what's going on if it doesn't see what it needs to. So of course this is only done with the bike powered off. So this module is now missing from the network. I'm going to turn the bike back on. And if the stars are not aligned right on anything on this bike, if any module is missing, the first thing it's going to do is going to give you what they call snowflakes. That means that ride mode is not going to be displayed. Now, if I tried to transfer all this over using that program I had, and I don't make it pretend that module is there at least, you will not be able to change modes of the bike. It's going to be stuck in tour and that's it. That's not something that was acceptable for the conversion I was doing. So I had to basically make that controller up there I was showing you emulate every single one of these 6 modules, or 5 in that case, that were removed. And if I didn't do that, I would not get my ride control feature at all, and whatever feature that module would do in the system. So in conclusion of this tech section here, what I'm going to do is make sure the power is off to the bike, and it is. What we do is we're going to reconnect this, and we're going to turn the power back on to the bike, and the tour came back up, so everything in the Goldwing world is happy again. And we got no check engine lights, which is cool. So I'm just going to go through and we're going to rescan this again, and nothing's been cleared yet, so it's probably going to find the same faults it did before. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear, and we'll get rid of a couple of them, but the seat stuff is going to stick because that seat obviously is not there. But at least we're hoping that engine one goes away because bank angle is connected. And it looks like engine is good, only the seat errors are there. So what this means is things are looking good for the state of the bike. The way it stands right now, I can actually start integrating and take my controller that I'm going to put against this network and this engine, donor engine. And here I will show you the controller that's going in this one. So this is a programmable controller that I'm going to be putting in Frankie 2. Frankie 1's looks a lot different. I was showing you a picture of that in the previous video. This one is slimmer and longer. So it should sit on top of the engine frame rails. And it's also very heat resistant too. So it's really designed for this particular application where you're working on this. Is actually built to work on a generator and mobile equipment that's running a diesel engine. So this is what's going to be programmed to talk to all those modules, well, on this network of this bike. This controller here is going to behave and emulate all those modules, those 5 modules that we're removing off this bike. Because we're not concerned about heating seats. The turn signals are all controlled by the Can-Am's computer. Infotainment, that's going away. So we want everything to be happy. So the basic stuff on the engine, like the ride control, because it controls your throttle response and everything. We want that to work still, and it won't work unless it thinks everything is in place on that network I was just showing. So that controller's job in life is going to be telling everything that this computer needs to know, that everyone's there, even when they're not. And oh, by the way, ABS is one of these too. It's another module. So shoot, that's about 9 modules. But anyways, that's kind of a tour of the CAN bus network and the computer module network on this bike. So in conclusion, today was a pretty productive day for working on this bike. Got out all the rest of the stuff stripped off this bike that we need to in order to start the rest of the process of prepping it for donating its motor and drivetrain, exhaust, and all that stuff. So the plans are to just get started on the integration and start programming that controller to talk to everything like we talked about. And that's what we're looking at. So I thought you guys might be interested in seeing if this thing runs looking the way it does right now, and let's try it out. Yep, she starts up. And I'm going to throw it in reverse mode here. Go backwards. Ultra slow reverse. Locking motor forward. Yep. Still runs. Yeah, still runs. So that's a good sign. Glad everything still works. We're in good shape. Thank you.